All right, how's everybody doing? Working on my mother-in-law's 2004 Hyundai Santa Fe 3.5 liter car today, little SUV. There she is. Got Arizona Copter Pilot here with you today. So to get to this thing, you got to pull your tire off, and if you have a splash guard along there, you got to pull that splash guard off. Luckily this one didn't have one, so I was able to get to it. Some other videos, there was a few extra tools that they were using and a few extra steps. This one, for some reason, is set up differently, and it's super easy. It takes maybe 20 minutes to do. So we're going right in. 14 millimeter, whoops, that's my 13. 14 millimeter socket, ratchet, and I used an air ratchet because I'm old and trying to work smarter, not harder. So we're going to go in here to this idler pulley, the adjustment pulley, and we're just going to loosen it. If you're not needing to replace this, the bearing will start going out, start grinding pretty bad. Might as well replace it. If you're going to do that, you just take the nut all the way off. And underneath is the adjustment screw, it's also 14 millimeter. You're going to get under there and you're going to back that thing off until you can pull the belt off. Belt's going to come right out. There's nothing for it to get hung up. The path is crankshaft under the adjustment pulley, up over the top of the alternator, down underneath the idler pulley, around the bottom of the air conditioning compressor, back to the crankshaft. Okay, that's going to come out in probably, if it takes you more than 15 seconds to get this out, you should probably just not continue. So back here, you have the power steering belt, which goes from the crankshaft up underneath the bottom and around the top of the power steering pump, up over the top of the idler pulley, the adjustment pulley there, and around the crankshaft. So that one also 14 millimeter, and I used an 1.5 inch extension, whoops, on a couple of the nuts just because the belt kind of gets in the way. So let's see, I'm going to start over here. You're going to loosen up these two nuts right here. Just loosen them. And then you're going to use, if you have an air ratchet or a battery operated one, because it's got to be backed out like probably 1.5 inches. It's really far. The adjustment nut here, the adjustment bolt, and you should be able to get the belt off with simply turning it sideways to get it through this little narrow spot in the frame here. Pull it out. The installation is opposite, obviously. Start with the power steering belt, and I tightened it up to about a 1/4 inch play is what's recommended. And the same thing on this side, on the long side. I went and started my car up, checked everything. The power steering works great, no squealing. Air conditioning comes on, no squealing. And where you're really going to see some flopping around if you're too loose is on this section here, believe it or not. You would think it would be the long section, but it's not. It's right there. So if you see excessive flapping there, stop the vehicle, loosen this nut up again, and then tighten up your belt a little bit till it's about a 1/4 inch play, and put your tire back on. You're good to go. Well, unless you have the splash guard. So hopefully this gives some encouragement to people to do it themselves. I called Midas, my local Midas, and they wanted $350 and 2 hours of time, including me driving down there and coming back to get my vehicle, and was able to fix it in 20 minutes and got the parts from, I go to O'Reilly's or AutoZone. So good luck. See ya.